The content you're about to enjoy comes from the archives of The Best You. We're devoted to the very best in personal development. With a magazine and resources dedicated to inspiring and changing people's lives, at The Best You, we work with the world's leading writers and trainers on the evolution of the self, and people whose journeys have been affected by their work and words. For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.
It's my privilege now to welcome Ben Coker to give you the Vision Power Workshop. Thank you, Ben.
Good afternoon, everybody. Am I on? Can you hear me at the back? Cool. Raise your hand if you have some area of your life that you'd like to improve. Keep your hand up if, when you did that, you weren't quite sure how to do it. Okay, so we are capable of far more than we know. You are capable of far more than you know. And what happens is perhaps... Sorry about this, I'm just getting used to this thing. We're capable of far more than we know. And this guy is quite surprised at how clever he's been to lift that weight. So we can do things, we can all do things that we're not aware how we can do it. And that's how things go on. Now I just want to take you back to what the intention is of today, because I've passed it on the way. This is not good. I'm sorry about this. Not got to there yet. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Right. No, wrong way. That's it. Oh, I think I've got it now. I'll maybe press it in the middle and not on the top. Where do I need to put it? Okay. Oh, right. What we're going to do today, or what I'm going to help you do today, is guide you, gives you some guidance as to how you can achieve your goals faster. I'm going to help you achieve greater clarity on your vision and goals. And I'm going to help you get even more confidence in your ability, which is what I've just talked about. So we'll pass past that. So we're going to make a promise to you today. And our promise to you from Life Mastery Universal is we will do all those things. But what we can't do, what we can't promise, is what happens next. And I'll come back to that a bit later on. There are two signals for growth in your life. And those two signals are longing and discontent. They're signals about things you want to move away from, situations you don't like. And they're signals that you get about situations you want to move towards. What would you love your life to be? So you have those two bits of knowledge. You know deep in your mind, or maybe first to the surface, you might know that you hate your job. You might know that you want to move away from that. That your discontent is there. It could be all sorts of things that you're discontented with. Is there anybody in the room who's not discontented with anything at all? Okay, so we've all got discontent. Is there anybody in the room who doesn't want to move towards something new? No. So I'm in the right room, and you're in the right room as well. I want to introduce you to our program. And our program is called Dream Builder. It comes from a lady in the USA called Mary Morrissey. And we're all the people that you see in these purple shirts, we're all certified coaches, and we can all take you through that program. So this is about Dream Builder. There are 4 areas in your life. And those include your relationships, and that's relationships with not just one-to-one relationships, but relationships with society, with the community that you're in. Another domain is your health, well-being, spirituality. That's you in yourself, how you are. So that's who you're with, who you are. And then down in the left-hand corner, your career, your business, your job, what you do. And if you don't have a job, if you don't have a career, don't have a business, it's what you do with yourself all day. And the fourth one is about lifestyle, about freedom, and about fulfillment, and how you achieve that state of fulfillment. And that is all about having enough money, having enough time, whatever it is you don't have enough of. And you may well have heard Marissa's talking about I am enough. We are enough. But that doesn't mean we can't have more. And if you read her book, I Am Enough, which I strongly recommend, then it will tell you all of that. So, let's talk about a Dream Builder program. There are 3 stages, there are 6 questions, and there are 12 steps in the process. And the 3 stages are now. Where are you now? Where are you now? Who are you now? What are you doing now? And it's surprising when we start talking to people in this program how many people don't really know who they are. And then we talk about 6 seemingly simple questions. They're very simple questions, but believe me, they're really, really hard to answer by yourself. I've done it by myself. It doesn't really work. You need a coach. And the 12 steps will take you through your journey from here to there where you're going to. But I want you to do an experiment. I'd like you to open your envelope, and inside your envelope you'll find 2 sheets of paper with lots of numbers on them. Everybody got that? You'll also find a pen in there. So take one of those sheets of paper with the numbers on, and what I want you to do is find the number 1. Has everybody found the number 1? I think it's somewhere down on the bottom right-hand side somewhere. Okay, now I want you to take your pen and trace from number 1 to number 2 to number 3 to number 4. See how you get starting now. Okay, stop. Who's got past number 10? Who's got past number 20? So everybody's somewhere between 10 and 20, right? Okay. Or not that far even. I want you to take the sheet of paper, this one you've just written on, and fold it into 4. Just fold it into 4, horizontally and vertically. Now I want you to open the sheet up again, and I want you to look at where number 1 is, and look at where number 2 is, and look at where number 3 is, and look at where number 4 is. And you'll find a pattern. You'll find that each of those 4 numbers is in a different quadrant of that piece of paper. You got that? Right. We're going to do it again. Take the other sheet of paper. Now you know where the numbers are going to be. You should get a lot further. So let's do the same activity, starting from 1 and starting now. Stop. Okay. Who's got past 20?
For complimentary resources from my book, my complimentary e-course, The Power of the Question, or recommended reads, go to www.thequestion.com/resources. For more information on my coaching or mentoring, go to www.bernardo-moya.com.
Who's got further than they did before? Everybody. Okay? So the lesson from that is when you know the pattern, when you know that there is a route through this that you can follow, it becomes much easier to do. So let's look at your journey. And here was number 1, and there was the highest number on there is 50, I think. Very few people get to 50. I only gave you 30 seconds. And if I gave you 2 minutes, people tend to get into the 30s, but very rarely does anybody get to 50 on the first go. So your journey is going to be like that. Whatever it is you're doing, even if you're travelling from here in London to Manchester, it is not a straight line. Even if the road is clear, it's still not a straight line if you're travelling up the M1 and then across and up the M6. It's not a straight line between London and Manchester. It's not even a straight line if you go in a plane. If you're in a plane from here to Los Angeles, it's not in a straight line, it's a curve. It doesn't go a straight line across the map. So the journey is never a straight line. And the journey will take a number of steps. And I'm going to explain what's the 12 steps in the Dream Builder program. You have a Dream Builder leaflet in your envelope. If you'd like to open it up to the inside, I'm going to take you very, very quickly through those 12 steps. And the 12 steps are, first of all, to know where you are. So that's steps 1 and 2. Know where you are. And we spend some time on that because when we start to talk with you and work with you or coach you to uncover who you really are, then quite a lot of people get surprised. And some of us, we can use other techniques to help you with that, certainly with the RTT that some of us do, and other therapies that we do. So helping to find where you are. Because when you set your sat-nav, if your sat-nav doesn't know where you are, there's no chance of it taking you where you want to be. You know, so I want to go to Bristol, but my sat-nav doesn't know where it is. So it can't give you a route. It's really, really important to know where it is, where you are. And then we need to know where you're going, or you need to know where you're going. And that's the next steps of this process. Because you may have an idea. Who's got an idea of where they want to go and what sort of life they want to have? Okay. Who has a very clear idea of why? A few fewer. Some of you have a clear idea, but we really need to know where it is you're going and why. The next stage is to find the way. And in the Dream Builder program, we come across a lot of blocks, restrictions, obstacles, and so forth, which we help you clear. And there are some techniques that we use within the program, which include things like forgiveness and understanding what that really is, gratitude and understanding what that really is, and another one about giving and the law of reciprocity. Who's heard of the law of attraction? Who's heard of the law of reciprocity? Just a few. The law of attraction doesn't work without the other 10 laws that go with it. And we'll cover some of that on the program. One of those other laws is the law of reciprocity. So finally you arrive at your destination. Now that's not always as simple as you might think, because when I got here, it was actually 2 o'clock on Friday morning, but when I got here I then had to find the car park. I'm coming to London Olympia, that's great. The car park I was supposed to go to was shut, so I had to find somewhere else. So there's things you have to do when you get there. And quite often people will arrive at a destination and think, well, what do I do now? So you need to do other things when you arrive to consolidate what it is you've been trying to achieve. So, I have a question for you. I want you to think about this while we go into another section. I want you to think about this. What is it that you really want? Want is an interesting word, because want actually means lack of. So this question, what do you really want, is about what is it in your life that isn't there? What's missing in your life? What do you lack? So think about, what is it, what's that 1 or 2 things that when you look inside yourself, there's 1 or 2 things that aren't quite right. That's what you lack, that's what you want. So think about that for a moment. What I'm going to do now is bring on somebody who has been through the program. And while you're thinking in your subconscious, I'd like you to listen to Kathy's story. So I'd like to bring on Kathy now, and I'm going to ask her a few questions. I'd like to introduce you to Kathy Wislowski, who is my business partner in Life Master Universal. So,
hello. I'm in the hot seat.
Welcome, Kathy. Could you start, please, by telling us who and where you were in your life before you embarked on this Dream Builder experience?
Okay, so my main job is I am a kinship foster carer for 2 of my grandsons. I have 4, but 2 of them live with me. So I was busy bringing them up. I'm also a therapist, so I was just doing my therapy work, doing more courses, doing more to improve myself. I'm sure you've all been there doing all these loads of courses. And just going along as I had always gone along, really. And I was okay with that. That was fine. I was okay with that at the time.
So, what was it that made you decide to do this? How uncomfortable or inconvenient was it for you to take up this opportunity of doing the Dream Builder program?
Well, logistically it was difficult because of obviously having my grandchildren, and that was had to sort that out. But the fact that I thought I felt that longing and discontent and wanted to get out and do something different. And to be honest, I wanted to meet Mary Morrissey. I didn't really think about that I wanted to be a coach as such. I wanted to meet Mary Morrissey because what she was saying touched here. And it was, you feel that emotion and you know in yourself when someone touches you that you need to go and see that person.
Okay. Kathy, now you've been through the program, can you tell us what happened when you got back and what your life is like now?
Well, you're all probably used to hearing people say, my life changed so radically when I did this program, right? Well, it did, but just not in the way that I thought it would. So I had this amazing experience in America where the first time in my life I'd been out there just as me with no children, because all I'd done is brought no children up for 31 years. So when I got home, I walked through my door and I cried. And I had a meltdown for 6 months. And it was a wonderful experience, don't get me wrong, but I just realised that it had totally rocked my world, rocked everything I knew about my life. It had made me feel obviously so uncomfortable that it shook me to the core. So for 6 months I had a meltdown. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I didn't know what was going to happen with my children. And it was, I guess everything had been stripped away.
So finally, what has been the one biggest or most important experience or change you gained from going through this?
I learned that what it brought me was it shook my beliefs and my paradigms of everything I thought I knew about my life and life. I thought I had my life sussed out and what I wanted to do. But going there, it shook my beliefs, like I say, to the core. And basically, my life was all over the floor and I had to build it back up again. But I'm glad it did, because it has changed my life in a lot of ways, and I'm glad I had that experience. So over the years, my life has got better, and some change is instant and some change takes that time, and that's okay. And I want you to know that's okay. So now in my life, I have 2 businesses. I met my partner 18 months ago, who's a lovely spiritual man, and I know he is because he used to be a monk, which was fantastic for me because I have a spiritual background. And I became the founder, pioneer and ambassador of 5th Dimensional Healing. So they're just a few little things that I've gained over the years.
Thank you very much, Kathy. A round of applause for Kathy, please. Let's go back to what you would love in your life. This is a different question. It's not what do I want, it's what would I love in my life. And I want you just now to focus on one of those 4 areas. So what would you love in your life, and which particular area is the most important to you at the moment? It doesn't mean it's the one where you need to get away from something, or not necessarily the one where you need. What's most important to you today out of those 4 areas that we talked about? What would you love in whichever one of those areas? Because we're going to do a little bit of work on that in a moment. Now, there's a saying that comes, I'm not sure where this saying came from, but one of my mentors, Peter Thompson, uses it quite a lot. And it is this: resistance is created through lack of clarity. Clarity is key. Clarity is power. And if you are not really clear on what it is that you want to do, or what it is that you're asking somebody else to do, if you're not clear, then it's going to go wrong. Sometimes it goes wrong when you are clear, but if you're not clear what you want to do, then either you're not going to make a start, or it's not going to work. Okay, so who knows what this is? This is a time machine, and we're going to do a little time machine exercise. And in a moment, we're going to go into the time machine right now. In your envelope there is a card which has a picture on one side and some space to write on the other side. Okay, on one side it says something like, what would you love? So it's a picture, and you've got the card. Okay, picture of a lady sitting at the coffee table, something like that. Right, now we're inside the TARDIS. So now, and I'm going to read this bit out, that's important. I'm going to take you into a deeper state of being. I'm not going to do what Marissa does. I could do, but we don't have time for that. I could put you into hypnosis, but I'm not going to do that. All I'm going to do is partially disconnect your logical conscious mind from your unconscious mind. Because when you start thinking about all the things you want to have, or the life you would love to live, your conscious mind gets in the way. It says, you can't do that. Where's the money going to come from? You haven't got time for that. It interferes. So I'm going to help you get rid of that interference just now. So I would like you to close your eyes now. Make sure you have both feet firmly on the ground in front of you, your arms uncrossed, and take 3 deep breaths. Now, inside the TARDIS, it's a bit like being inside a lift. You can see the control buttons marked for each year ahead. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and so on. You're pressing the button marked 2022, and the display comes up showing the months roll forward one by one. As each month goes by, you go deeper into a state of relaxation. Now it's 2020, and you can feel your conscious mind slowly disconnecting from your true self, and you're going deeper. Now it's 2021, and all the sounds going on around you are giving you deeper focus on your true self. You've arrived in 2022. You get out of the time machine and step into your life and find that everything you wanted has worked out. Just imagine for a moment that your life is exactly what you would love in your life now when you were back in 2019. And look around. See what's happening in your life right now in 2022. What are the results you're enjoying? Imagine your life in this time. Where are you? Who are you with? What are you doing that lights you up and fills you with joy and gratitude? What are the feelings that make this the life you love? Now see this vivid picture. Intensify it. Brighten the colours. Make it larger and more expanded. Hear the sounds. Smell the smells. Use all your senses to build up the picture. What's happening for you? Now take a deep breath and open your eyes. It's February 2022. When the music starts, you have 2 minutes to write down on your postcard, in the present tense, just what's happening in your life right now in 2022.
For more information on collaborating, partnering, sponsoring, supporting, or speaking at any of our events, or finding out more about our legacy clubs, go to www.thebestyou.co. If you're interested in finding out more about the amazing content we have, please go to www.thebestyou.online and get your 14-day free trial now.
That is an exercise which we take you through on the program. Now I'm going to skip the next slide and go on to a gentleman called Bob Proctor. Who's heard of Bob Proctor? Okay. Bob said, there is a single mental move you can make, which in a millisecond will solve enormous problems for you. It has the potential to improve almost any personal or business situation you'll ever encounter. And it could literally propel you down the path to incredible success. Does anybody know what that is? Does anybody know what Bob's talking about? We have a name for this magic mental activity. It's called decision. Because you must decide. You must decide to move towards that life that you've just written down. And when you decide to do something at the beginning, it's like that. You're ready to go. It's all fired up. But then very soon, it turns into something a bit different. Because those two words are very, very dangerous. The two words I'm talking about are, what if? What if it all goes wrong? What if I fail? What if? Now, there was one time in your life when you didn't bother about that. Because we've all done this, we've all been through this. When we were very young, we started to learn to walk. And when we started to learn to walk, we put one leg in front of the other and fell over. And what happened then? We got up again. And we did it again. And we did it as many times as it took to be able to walk, because you're all walking. Everybody in here can walk. And we all went through that learning process, but none of us ever stopped in the middle of that and said, I'm just not a walker. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to give up. Not a single person in this room did that. So that just goes to prove that you can do it. But it does help if you have someone there who's helping you to do it. Helping you to learn to walk. So back to what if again. Let's look at the other side of what if. What if this really could come true? What you've written down. What if I could really be, do, and have what I really want? What if I could really live the life I would love to live? What if? And what would that be worth to me? What would it be worth to you to achieve what you've just written down on that card? Just a few examples of great dream builders. People who are willing to fail and rise again. Oprah. Not fit for TV. You're fired. There is no future for bands like you. If J.K. Rowling had given up after the first couple of publishers had rejected Harry Potter, she wouldn't be the multi-millionaire she is now, and millions of children and adults all over the world would not have experienced the Harry Potter stories. You can do it. These people can do it. Anybody can do it. Because fear and failure are prerequisites for achieving great visions. Fear will drive you forward. We've covered 3 stages. Who and where am I now? Where am I going and why? And how do I find the way? Those are the 3 stages of Dream Builder. And when fear arises, what is it you can do? Any ideas what you can do when fear arises? How do you defeat fear? Easy answer. Take action. Because without action, nothing happens. There are a lot of speakers out throughout this weekend. A lot of them are very inspirational. And you will listen to a lot of people like me standing up and talking and being as inspirational as we can. But as Mary Morrison says, without action, inspiration is just entertainment. So if you're here to be entertained, then that's great, but it's not going to get you anywhere. If you're here to achieve something, if you've come to this event in order to help you achieve something, then you have to do that. You have to take action. Dreams do come true. But here's the equation. Success in achieving your dream requires 3 things. It requires time, it requires money, and it requires effort. And if one of those is missing, sure, sometimes people fail, but it is very rare. And we talk to people about having to invest in your own future, but it's not just about money, it's about the other 2 things as well. You can pay lots of money for a coaching course, for a training program, but if you don't put it into action at the end, then it's a waste of time. You can learn lots of stuff. If you don't put it into practice, it doesn't work. So the next question is, when do you want your success? Now, we've written about 2022. Who would like to achieve some improvement in their life before 2022? Who's waiting for, I'll get round to it tomorrow? The other question I'm asking now, we always get this last one. I can't do anything till after Christmas. I can't do anything till after Brexit. That's the new one. I can't do anything till after Brexit. Don't know what's going to happen. Can't do anything till after Easter. People will tell you that all the time. And what you have to do is say, look, take action now. To yourself. Tell yourself, I'm not telling you to take action now. I'm asking you to say to yourself, take action now. And that's exactly why we've written our brand name, Life Mastery Now. Not tomorrow, not the next day, not after Easter, not after whatever. Life Mastery Now. Take action now. So one thing you can do today. What is one action that you can take now that would move you in the direction of your vision? That one action, what would that be? Any replies? Anybody got any ideas what one action you could take? I've already given you the answer. Back to Bob. It's not a very big action. It won't cost you anything. But that one thing that you need to do, this magic mental activity, is to decide, to make a decision. Now, I mentioned before that we were going to promise something to you, to help you on your way, to help you start on that road, to help you provide you with that sat-nav that you need. And there are a few of us here Our stand is just over there. In fact, you can see it from here. We will provide you with a 30-minute clarity consultation, and that is to help you get clear about what your vision is, what your goal is in whichever particular section, domain of your life you're talking about. So you can talk to one of our experienced coaches this afternoon. And Christine, where's Christine? Christine is at the back, and she has a card there where you can write your name and phone number down with an appointment to come and see somebody at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. We want your phone number, so just in case we've got a place that comes up early, we can text you and say, do you want to come along now? So if you want to have a 30-minute clarity session with one of us, give Christine your name on the way out. If you want to do that, go out the back way. Plus, there's no requirement to sign up for the program. But if you did decide to sign up for the program, for the coaching program, which is a 12-module program, usually it takes 12 weeks. Some people do it faster, some people do it slower. If you wanted to sign up for that today, we will take £200 off the price that's on that brochure. For that, if you do it today. But the clarity session is free. There's no obligation to sign up for the program. So if you'd like to do that and have an in-depth conversation with one of our experienced coaches, then you'd be very welcome to do so. Just give your name to Christine on the way out. So, whatever you can do or dream, you can. Begin it. Because boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Thank you very much. I've been Ben Coker, and have a good day.
For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.